Hey everyone, Virgo here. Another update, another survival map. As I said in the last video, Dino was already near completion, thus would be coming out quite soon. However, I ended up completely remaking some sections. For instance, this was originally an open swamp area, but after some feedback and testing from my patrons, I felt like it was too empty, too boring, and too meaningless gameplay wise. Thus, I've completely turned it into a little RV/trailer park area, which I think fits nicely opposite a gas station in Dino. In Black Ops 2's TranZit, this area is literally just nothing. Now, you can fully play and explore here. Secondly, I took the diner building and fucking deleted it. Originally, this was a prefab sent over by Zero as a part of his and RDV's Christmas map from way back, but unfortunately, it didn't end up being quite how I wanted it for my vision of TranZit, so I've completely remade it from scratch. Still love you though, Zero. So why don't we go in game and take a look at the new diner then? Alright, here we are at the new diner building. I'm very pleased how this ended up turning out. I'm a big fan of the interior, especially with the purple neon lights. I think that looks beautiful, and we have screen space reflection floors. Oof, look at that. Here we got the classic speed cola. Yes, it is purple. Cry about it. Classic MP5, of course. Heading down towards this end of the diner, we got a jukebox, and this is playing the classic loading screen music. And we have a teddy bear here for the music Easter egg. But coming around to this side where the hatch is, the roof access, I have made it more like the original, so you do have to jump up instead of the stairs you saw in the old version. So why don't we go up on the roof? As you can see, it's just like the OG. This is where Governor Knuckles will be, once I make it. But heading up onto the roof, I of course had to expand the roof, so not only is all of this playable, but so is this new section here. Nope, that's PhD. But we got the Spaz 12 wall buy, and you can even drop down here to behind the diner. And not only that, but you can also slide off on this side. So that makes the roof a genuinely viable area to play in. So that's the diner. Let's go behind it. Now, as I'm sure you know by now, I am expanding every single area of TranZit because I am unfortunately mentally ill and I'm making the biggest map bigger, but I can't help myself. I love the idea of exploration and just performing, honestly, the most ambitious custom map. So this is a whole new section behind Diner, which is 100% playable. If you remember in the last dev update when we went over Tunnel Survival, you will know that this sewer drain will be connecting all the way to Tunnel. So imagine entering here, in the full version, Jug won't be blocking this way. You'll be able to go all the way down and come out through here into Tunnel. Everything's unloaded because I'm only in Diner right now. Imagine making your way from Tunnel, coming out Diner here. Oof, I think this just looks beautiful. I'm so happy with how this is turning out, this whole project, honestly. And I couldn't have done it without you all. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind back to spawn. So this is where you'll spawn in Dino Survival. We have Quick Revive, we have the classic M14, the Olympia, and we have the mystery box. This will be the only survival map where mystery box is in spawn, and this is just because this is where the box is in the full TranZit, so I like keeping that theme. And I have some more words on the mystery box later, because something that I'm very excited to show you all regarding the full map. We have a gobblegum machine, workbench for the shield, and this little section here. Moving on out from inside here, we gain access to this section. And as I promised, we have our graffiti on the wall. So we have lots of detailed graffiti, and in this corner, we have our patrons. So massive shout out to everyone on this wall. Every single one of these names are people that have become a patron on my Patreon. We got Watchful Wolf, Skipworth, Jacko. And if you want to get your name as graffiti in TranZit, as well as early access to Farm Survival with the rest of the survivals and the full Return to TranZit project, head over to my Patreon. Link is in the description and the pinned comment. Your support means the most, and the playtesting generally helps the development of the maps. But moving on, let's head over this way. So we have the front of the garage here, which gives us access to the trailer park. And this road is blocked off here. Of course, it's not like this in the full version. This is just for the survival map. I slapped stamina up here. But moving on down this way, this is how you gain access to behind Diner. So this wraps all the way around to Diner and around back to garage here. As you can see, we've got the riverway here, going off into the vista. But moving forward, we've got a cave entrance here. Why don't we head on inside? So this is the official bunker area for Diner. So in the full version of TranZit, this will be where a tally pad location is. And moving on down this way, this is where the pack-a-punch switch will be. But in the survival map, it's just a power switch. And if you head out back this way, this also wraps around to the Diner side. Boom. Freedom. Dogs! That's right. With the release of Dino Survival, dog rounds are debuting. So dog rounds are in all the survival maps as of this video, which includes Tunnel Survival and Bus Depot Survival. And they happen specifically right after you ready up. So rather than it being like a random round, it happens specifically after you ready up. And we have this fog that comes in and rolls out. Now that fog is important because on a certain round, something special happens. Okay, I'm on round 25 now and I've hit a pause. So I'm gonna ready up and just let it play. So Richtofen has just gained control and he's dropped us a power up, and as you can see, the power up is now blue. And not only that, the announcer changes, as you just heard, and the dogs, their eyes are now blue, as well as all the zombies. So as you can see, they got their blue eyes. So the announcer and the power-up effects and the eye colors all change when the announcer switches. And not only that, you'll notice that the map is a lot darker now. So let me finish the dog round real quick. Here we got our max ammo, dropped by Richtofen. And let's let the fog clear. Boom, we are at nighttime. So when Richtofen gains control over at the moon, the skybox changes to nighttime, and that is how we progress from day to night. Now we're so close from the rockets hitting us. This is live in all the survival maps now as of this video, and this will be a feature that's present in the full Return to TranZit. Alright, so let me showcase the power-up effects. With Richtofen in control, they're all blue, and they've got this flame effect with these magical things. If we switch back over to Samantha, which is what it starts at, all the power-ups are the classic effect, but they're yellow. I decided to keep it as the classic. Now, there are two more controllers that happen throughout the full map that are achieved via the main Easter egg. Now, in the survival map, it is only Samantha and Richtofen, but in the full map, it is Samantha, Richtofen, the Avogadro, Asterix, because there's something special regarding the Avogadro, which all of you will get to discover when you play the full map, and then a secret fourth one. So these are the Avogadro effects. They're all white, they've got the lightning and the cloud, giving the theme of like the electricity. And of course, when Avogadro's in power, the eye colors will be white as well. And lastly, we got the secret one. These are the effects for the fourth one and the secret one, and you'll have to find out by doing the main Easter egg. A lot of you have asked, can the Black Ops 3 engine even handle this? And the answer is, no. You see, the first limit I ran into was the reflection probe limit. The fuck is a reflection probe? They're these funny little green boxes with a funny little sphere. You can imagine the funny sphere is a 360-degree camera that takes a photo, then projects that photo onto reflections. Then the funny green box is a fancy voxel grid that calculates light bounces, or ray tracers. Because back in my day, we used to bake out damn rays instead of trying to trace them in real time and getting no FPS in the process. Quick, turn on DLSS. But the reason why they're good is because they'll turn a room from looking like this to looking like this. So they're definitely great to have. But the problem is you can only have 250 of them. And when you're dealing with a map as big as TranZit, you run out pretty fast. And if you know anything about how I do lighting, I tend to use a lot. On Bus Depot alone, I'm using around 180. This limit was not gonna cut it for the full map. So I had to find another way. And I did. Turns out, the limit only applies to how many is loaded at once, by being in what's called a sun volume. Sun volumes are basically big box where the sunlighting gets baked, and while you're inside them, it loads all the probes inside of it. So the solution is simple, just use multiple sun volumes. But that's where we hit our first problem. The transition between them is a little obvious. Thankfully, we have Vista volumes. They're basically bigger sun volumes, except it's sun lighting only and it's at lower quality. By covering all the sun volumes in one big Vista volume, I'm able to light outside of the sun volume to help hide the transition. It's a lot better, but it's still missing reflection probes. How can I get a reflection probe to bake outside of the sun volume if they only do it for the sun volume it's in? Well, let's go back to the funny sphere. I found out probes load depending on the origin of the funny sphere specifically. So by having that inside the sun volume, but having the box outside of it, I'm able to probe outside of the sun volume, allowing me to bake in the transition area. So by doing this trick, we now have smooth transitions between sun volumes. Now I can probe all I want, wherever I want, and whoever I want. All is good.
Wait, what the fuck is a lump limit?
Turns out, your light export data can only be so big. And because I have 4 lighting states in TranZit, that's day power off, day power on, and night power off and night power on, it has to recalculate all of the reflection probes and suns for each lighting state. Since Return to TranZit is divided into 9 sun volumes, this basically has to calculate like 36 maps worth of lighting. Yeah, this might be a bit too much. I wasn't about to cut night mode though, so once again I had to find a way around it. I decided that night power off wasn't necessary, as 99% of the players would have power on by the time night comes anyways, and if by chance they don't, it's not that big of a deal, considering really it's just a visual thing, like some lights won't be on that weren't before, but they ought to be for night anyways. Then to further cut down the LED size, I removed day power off in sections that would look the same with power on and power off. At first, this did not work at all. Black Ops 3 hated the concept of a lighting state missing, but I got it working by reordering the lighting states. If there's no lighting state defined, it'll automatically load the next one above it. So if starting at 0, day power off, and it's missing, it'll automatically load the next one up. Lighting state 1, day power on, for that sun volume. Now we're back to business. all is good. Now, Umbra won't let the map link. And linking's important because it generates the playable files. We've hit a whole different limit now. I got too many models on the map. Now, there's two ways I could go about this. One, go through all of Return to TranZit and remove as many models as possible, keeping only what is explicitly needed, thus in turn making the map look vastly less detailed, like Black Ops 2. Or, I come up with a solution to combine multiple models into one big model, bringing the overall model count down. Going into Blender or Maya, Blender is superior, and manually placing the models together to put them back in the map would be a nightmare to say the least. I needed a way to bring what I already had in the map into Blender, in the same position, rotation, and scales as they are placed in Radiant, which is the map editor for Call of Duty. Then I was like, wait a minute, the .map files are literally just lists of the assets at their locations, rotations, and scales. I just needed a way to pass this data into Blender, because Blender is better. So I very quickly, this actually took me ages, made a Python plugin for Blender that does exactly that. This is the first time I ever made a plugin for Blender, but that wasn't even the part I was struggling with. It was converting the rotations from Radiant to Blender, because for some reason, the XYZ order is not XYZ, it's like ZXY, or whatever it was. And I was literally stuck for the longest time before I realized this, but we got it working in the end. Now I can create .map files in Radiant by selecting the models I want, saving it as a prefab, then I can load that model into Blender, then with my plugin, load the .map file, which is the prefab, and boom, exactly how it is in Radiant. Now I just join it into one big model, do a little decimation to bring the try count down, and bring it back into Radiant. Now we can take thousands of models and turn it into one. If you're interested in using this plugin yourself, I've linked the download in the description. I've also sent this to Zella and Dobby for their project, as this was an issue they ran into with DieRise. Alright, now we've done it. Every limit solved. Let's just load into TranZit here and test the map.
I've hit the zone limit.
This one's actually very simple. It's just the total size of the map essentially. This could be reduced by using less unique assets. Like if you had two box models, for example, and they both have 4K textures, you could just use one box model twice instead of using two separate ones to completely eliminate that unique asset, which would bring the overall size down of the map, as well as going around and lowering the resolution of some of the textures. Because some parts of textures like ambient occlusion don't need to be as high resolution, so they could be dropped without any visual impact. And a lot of 4K materials look completely fine at 2K. So I've gone through and did a little optimization. Okay, surely now it's gonna let me play the map. Yo! Alright, now that we've made it into the full map, allow me to showcase what I was talking about earlier regarding the mystery box. So right now we can see in the sky, the beam is purple because it is currently at Dino. And I say that specifically because if we intentionally get the box to move, oh, we got the teddy bear, it's now going away. Let's go outside and see where it went. So we're looking for the beam. Oh. And as we can see, there's a yellow beam. That means the box is in tunnel. And if we go over there, the mystery box itself is yellow. So depending where the box is, the color will completely change. So for tunnel, it is yellow. For Diner, it is purple, as you saw. For Nacht, it is this aqua blue. Over at Farm, it is green. Green with the greenery of Farm. At the power station, it is white, since that lab underneath is literally just the color white. And by the way, yes, back there will be playable. At Bus Depot, it is blue, a very deep blue, like the color of the building here. Because I like the idea of all the areas having their own color scheme, which is why I made Speed Color purple, by the way, since Diner's scheme is purple. And look at this beam. You can see this from ages away. Like, you could be coming up on church here and just being like, oh, boom, blue, it's at Bus Depot. And before any of you ask, yes, the church will be playable. I will give you a slight sneak peek on the new section of town. So this whole area is brand new to town. This was previously completely blocked off by exploded roads that you can't access, but now it's an actual street. But like I said, that's just a sneak peek. So our next box color is brown, which is the hunter cabin. And I chose brown because, you know, the cabin's made out of wood, and the color of wood is brown. And lastly, for town, it is red. So the full theme of town will be red. That goes with Juggernog and Vigor Rush. So all of these areas are going to be fully expanded and actual points of interest. And they're all going to be survival maps. Just to give you a list, there will be Bus Depot Survival, Tunnel Survival, Diner Survival, Farm Survival, Nacht Survival, Power Survival, Cabin Survival, Town Survival, and finally, Bridge Survival. Comment below which one you're looking forward to the most. While I'm here, I'll quickly show off the sun volume transition. So right now, I'm in a sun volume that covers this area, which is completely separate to the Bus Depot sun volume. Now, if I just walk through, I just switched sun volumes right then, and the difference is extremely subtle. So I think I've managed to hide it pretty well. So what the fuck are you waiting for? Go play Dino Survival. It's out now.